Hi again. So just continuing the unified theory kind of idea of just trying to unify the theories together. What fits, what doesn't. This image shows an apocalyptic scene with lots of lightning striking and what looks like melted buildings, also with a more modern city. I've just used that as a little cover image. And really what I'm looking at is trying to unify some of the theories out there. For instance, Wise Up's petrification idea. Now, it looks like this can happen quickly. Instant petrified wood was the announcement in Popular Science in 1992. There seems to be quite a lot of research that you can create petrified wood using things like hydrochloric acid. It's similar to the process in nature. It's just that it's sped up. So these guys did an experiment and were able to create petrified wood, and I'm hoping I can use this video by Global Vision TV without getting a copyright, because I'm sending you to their site. If you want to go and see it, it's Global Vision TV. And I'm not asserting any copyright to it. I'm just using it for criticism and to review it, to hopefully share the concepts that are in it.
And what it was some Japanese scientists had read that and decided to experiment themselves. I'd written an article about the rapid petrification of wood. And so what they did is they took some pieces of wood and suspended it on ropes into a hot volcanic spring water in Japan. And over a 7-year period, they took one out each year and looked at it under the microscope, and they actually tracked the silica, the chemicals that were in the hot volcanic water. The water permeated into the wood, into the cells, and progressively over those few years, the silica had filled and totally replaced and petrified the wood. In my article, I'd referred, similar to the example you gave, of fence posts in outback Australia, where the farmer, the rancher, had come back years later to renew the fence and discovered that the posts had become petrified in the ground. And so it's everyone knows.
Okay, I think you get the idea there. So we're looking at quick petrification. What are the conditions needed for quick petrification? Because Wise Up has quite rightly pointed out there's a lot of what we call stone structures that were seemingly wooden structures that were petrified. So were they harvesting lightning energy in the grid before? That was a question that I thought, well, lightning can cause a meltdown. We know that. We know that lightning can cause big issues, can cause circuits to melt, can cause huge heat. And fire. Lightning generates tremendous heat. And during a storm, excessive water can pool or cascade. This can because electrical lines become saturated, leaving properties vulnerable to a short circuit or other damage. And remember, we're talking about using bricks as capacitors, batteries, and heating elements, perhaps. I want to come back to some examples later on of how you can artificially stimulate lightning. But one of the elements that's needed for this rapid petrification is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is a key component of the process. And it's widely used, including in the building industry. So I was looking for the presence of hydrochloric acid. And could it be used to coat batteries, or what would it be used for? Why would there be a lot of hydrochloric acid around to help with this petrification? So the timeline we're looking at is lightning storm melts down the grid. An unbelievable lightning storm including huge amounts of water, rain. Now, whether this is artificially induced or not, that's something else to think about. But what caused the grid? What was the X factor event, and how does it link together with petrification and mud flood? So it looks easy to explain mud flood and brick flood and possibly volcanic ash and liquefaction caused by shaking in the ground. But then the petrification element looks like it's also explained too. So what else can be used as capacitors? It says here on Wikipedia that materials commonly used as dielectrics include glass and ceramics, plastic film, etc. Electrical conductors in the form of metallic plates or surfaces are separated by a dielectric medium. So glass could be a component in a capacitor. Because we were thinking about where's all the glass? Where did the glass go? Did the glass just turn into the sand in the desert kind of stuff? What happened to the glass and could it have been used? This article says that glass could be used for high power energy storage applications from the Journal of Materials Chemistry. We can see previous videos and this video that popular mechanics claim that science has turned red bricks into supercapacitors and that the color is important. The red clay. Let's look at how the brick works itself. It's made of clay. It's red because of an age-old pigment called hematite. The red colour of a brick originates from hematite, a pigment first utilised by humans 73,000 years ago and serving today as a low-cost, naturally abundant, inorganic precursor for catalyst metals, magnets, and alloys. State-of-the-art energy storage materials are also produced from hematite. When hematite-inflected red clay is fired into bricks, it becomes uniquely fixed and microporous. Now, these modern guys had to insert nanofibers to be in PEDOT, P-E-D-O-T, to snake right in. Snake, interesting use of language there. And this is done through a carefully controlled chemical reaction. So it looks like you can construct red bricks to become capacitors, supercapacitors, in fact. So could we then harvest the electricity? Could we harvest electricity? That was one of the things I was just wondering is, did we try to harvest electricity straight from lightning storms? Could we induce that? So ScienceDaily.com says artificial lightning laser triggers electrical activity in thunderstorm for the first time. This is in 2008. A team of European scientists has deliberately triggered electrical activity in thunderstorms for the first time, according to a new paper in the latest issue of Optics Express. They did this by aiming high-powered pulses of laser light into a thunderstorm. There's a great video here from China saying artificial lightning generated by launching a rocket trailing a copper wire into the thundercloud. This is from the People's Daily China. And again, not asserted copyright on this. This is theirs. Please go to their site to watch it. I'm just watching it and criticising it or critiquing it, bringing it to people's attention. So that looks just like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? If you just see that again, it's just unbelievable. And assuming that you could then harvest that and then store it in the capacitors, I'm wondering about the use of different kinds of stone, different kinds of metal. There's lots of people who've done work on this. I think Graham Hancock and those guys did lots of work on, or people affiliated to them, on stone and how the pyramids could be using different kinds of stone to have a mechanical function. So yeah, we asked, where is the glass? Where is the glass in a previous video? And what could the glass have been used for? Do a little bit of research on, can you use weather? Can you weaponize weather? Can you modify weather? The Smithsonian magazine has an article from 2011 saying in the 1950s, some US scientists warned that without immediate action, Soviet Union would control the Earth's thermometers and weather control as a Cold War weapon. So you can go into this link and read it. This is a quote by Dr. Irving Langmuir from partnership with some work conducted at GE Research Laboratory. Rainmaking or weather control can be as powerful a war weapon as the atom bomb, a Nobel Prize winning physicist said today. Dr. Irving Langmuir, I might be pronouncing that wrong, pioneer in rainmaking, said that the government should seize on the phenomenon of weather control as it did on atomic energy. Dr. Langmuir says, in the amount of energy liberated, the effect of 30 milligrams of silver iodide under optimum conditions equals that of one atomic bomb. Silver iodide. So, interesting. Would you need to spray that into clouds? How would that work? So again, kind of like a limited hangout amount of information. Information's out there. It's just finding it and editorializing it. So The Guardian, God bless their souls, in 2015 asked the question, can the CIA weaponize the weather? The question. And they said a leading climate change scientist has warned that the US Secret Service's interest in geoengineering technology may not be benign. And it's not the first time a government has tried to control weather patterns. So again, you can go to this article and see that this is something that's being discussed in the mainstream. And it mentions US military's HARP research program and how that has sown a blizzard of theories. So again, Guardian ends up in dismissing that theory, puts it out there, mentions it, asks the question, and then dismisses it. That contrasts with what the Smithsonian seem to be saying. Was there anything in final? I just wanted to look at the Bible's use of the word brick. They do seem to mention brick a fair bit, including in Genesis. Go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime they had for mortar. It'd be really interesting to know what that slime was and how it was made. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manners of service in the field. So is this in constructing these big, big cities? Is this the story of the human race, that they were slave race to build this? And who were the ones that genetically engineered us? And are they still around? And if they are, can we work out a deal, please, guys? Because it looks like in the past you had more than 7 billion existing, so why can't we do that and just all live cool? There's definitely got to be a way. Just make the world more beautiful, make it to last, and try not to melt it down this time, hey? So it looks like the Pharaoh's taskmasters had said, why have you not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today? You should be making brick. Make brick and behold brickmaking in the towns and children of Ammon. Burneth incense upon altars of brick. Sacrificeth in gardens. Pick up large stones and set them in the mortar of the brick pavement that is at the opening for the Pharaoh's palace. Do this in sight of the Judean men. Why would you do that? The gates of the rivers surrounding Nineveh are opened, and the palace of sun-dried brick is dissolved by the torrents. Draw water for the siege, strengthen your fortresses, step into the clay and tread the mortar. Take hold of the brick mould. Interesting. So just to recap the timeline of the X factor, we have circuit board cities linked together, not sure how far, a grid, an energy production grid using etheric energy extraction, perhaps lightning bolt extraction, whatever. There's some argument in that, but effectively that's what we have. We have a way of generating and sharing energy and heating houses and storing energy in red brick. We've got quick petrification happening after the X factor event, with the heat melting the ice, causing a flood, something like that. Maybe dams also flooding. We've got possibly earthquakes involved. We've got lightning storms. We've got a meltdown of the grid, and then quick petrification by the rising floodwaters that maybe hung around for 7 years, then receded to a certain extent, maybe didn't recede all the way. Did we have the firmament melt slightly and allow waters from above to come into the system? Is that a thing? Is there water in space? Who knows? Anyway, take care.